around the star, their star, some kind of planetoids, artificial planetoids, or sort of huge space station that are orbiting around their sun, and they are able to extract energy from their sun. The hypothesis is that this kind of civilization has built a lot of these artificial planetoids around these stars, and we know already which kind of effects are going, what kind of markings are going to find from this kind of stars. First of all, we are searching for planets around solar type stars, so G spectral type stars, and sometimes also around cooler stars of the K or M type, but mostly we are concentrated on G-type stars. Well, if some intelligent civilization has been able to tap the energy of their sun by building sort of orbiting colonies all around the sun, we are expecting two features, two marking features that are very important in order to configure a target for SETI. These are just the following ones. First of all, if we have space planetoids, artificial planetoids around these kind of stars, we expect that around such stars we have an anomalous emission of infrared radiation. Normally, G-type stars emit infrared radiation, but very little. But if we see much more infrared radiation than we expect, we have no other choice than thinking that this infrared radiation is the result of a reprocessing of the optical light of that star by artificial planetoid that are orbiting around. So if we see too much infrared radiation around G-type stars, we cannot think that this radiation is produced by natural causes, because G-type stars are structurally stabilized objects with no circumstellar envelopes causing of dust and gas that is able to produce infrared radiation. The only kind of infrared radiation that can be of artificial origin. So, using space telescopes, infrared space telescopes such as the Spitzer telescope and also future infrared telescope, we can detect this kind of infrared excess that is crucial in order to identify what we call Dyson spheres. Dyson sphere is a G-type stars that is surrounded by artificial planetoid coming from technological evolution, a technological tapping of the energy of the planet, in particular by type 2 civilization. We spoke about type 2 creating infrared excess. According to Kardashev classification, we have 4 types. The 0 type, which is our civilization. The 1 type, type 1, is something that is a bit over our capabilities. The type 2 is just what we are searching for, and type 3 are just a civilization that are able to tap the energy of the entire galaxy, and that are also able to travel through the galaxy using several methods that are conventional and also non-conventional, based probably on the manipulation of space-time through sort of stargates or warp drive system of traveling. But coming back to the Type 2 civilization, we expect this kind of infrared radiation. Not only this, because there is another technique that can be correlated to this, that is coming from a French astronomer, Luc Arnauld, who has simulated mathematically the light curves that are produced by orbiting artificial planetoids of several geometric shapes around their star. We expect that specific geometric shapes produced a very specific way in which the light of the star changes. Why the light of the star changes? Because we expect that such big planetoids transit in front of the star. They are aligned on the side of line, and so they create a sort of partial eclipse that diminishes the light of the star. The way in which the light diminishes, there is a very specific shape, can tell us a lot about the shape and also about the dimension of these artificial planetoids. So these possible light variations that conceptually are just the same concept of what we find in extrasolar planets using the Kepler telescope, we can unite this possible discovery, we can correlate this possible discovery with the infrared excess that we could find. So if we have a solar type star of which we find exoplanets, and if from there we are able to find an infrared excess and very strange, very anomalous light curve, light variation, there we have a very good candidate of a technological civilization. So this is what it's called search for extraterrestrial technology. This is not the same as searching for intelligent signals. This is just passive. We just find the evidence of technology, of a tapping of the energy of the star from a Type 2 civilization. This is an hypothesis that must be tested. So far the search didn't furnish any result, but if we find this evidence, and this evidence might increase a lot using the new telescopes from ground and from space, then we would have a very specific target to use to search for electromagnetic signals. So there we would have the targets, not only extrasolar planets that we found, but also very specific planetoids, artificial planetoids, to which we could aim our radio telescope. In that case, it makes a lot of sense to point the radio telescope and to see if such technological civilization are sending intentional or non-intentional signals. So we would restrict a lot the number of targets, we would save up time, and this would be very nice. So I have been speaking about this possible extraterrestrial technology. Well, we spoke about artificial planetoids that are orbiting around their star and that are used as a colonization and also as a technological system to brindle the energy of that star. But we may assume also that such planetoids may be put in motion out of their orbit around their star and sent to travel into space in search for other solar systems. This might be reasonable if such kind of civilization, for instance, is able to predict the date in which their sun, their star, will become a red giant, so that life would become impossible, and so they would send some of these planetoids away from their normal orbit toward other solar systems. So such planetoids, which form altogether a Dyson sphere, would become huge spacecrafts, huge arcs containing thousands and maybe millions of individuals aboard, and that would be sent in travel toward space, toward other stars that contain favorable condition for life. Of course, this travel would be very long, and it is assumed that such a community aboard of extraterrestrial people could live autonomously for thousands of years inside these artificial planetoids that are also spacecraft traveling in space, and so they could travel very long at subluminal velocity using several kinds of possible propulsion systems, such as microwave sails or matter antimatter system of propulsion, but they are anyway traveling at a velocity and a speed that is much less the speed of light. So their travel should last thousands or tens of thousands of years until finally they enter inside other solar system, and so we would have a possibility that at least one of these artificial planetoid arcs enter or has entered inside our solar system. So, of course, this is an hypothesis so far, but it's a very reasonable hypothesis. How can we demonstrate such a possibility? We expect what we can find. First of all, we would expect to see, like in the case of the Dyson sphere at their star, an infrared excess due to the propulsion system and due to the all the machinery that is aboard these huge planetoids. So we expect a very strong infrared emission. In addition to that, there is a very important characteristic that we expect that such objects have a very high angular velocity, namely they are traveling very fast, and the more the object is fast, and the more the object is close to us. This is the concept of angular velocity, or of proper motion, that is mostly used in astronomy. So if we find something that is very strong in the infrared, and if it is traveling very fast, we should suspect that something is approaching or is inside our solar system, or very close to the solar system. So this is what we expect to find. And so I go back to the other concept that I mentioned before, and the concept is that the one of the so-called false alarm. The false alarm of SETI. Some signals were effectively found sometimes, but were not seen anymore. We expect that if the signal is coming from other star, the signal should be stable and should be seen the same from all the observers using radio telescope. But they were seen only once. So one possible explanation, in addition to the noise effect, to the reconnaissance aircrafts passing over the antenna lobe, or artificial satellite that occasionally are passing there and they are creating that effect, The other possibility is that